The artwork I would like to present to you is a man-made structure called Salvation Mountain. As you can see from the photo, Salvation Mountain is located essentially in the middle of nowhere. To give you an idea, it is located east of the Salton Sea between the small town of Neeland and Slab City. Salvation Mountain can best be described as an oasis of artistic and religious expression amidst the barren desert landscape of which it is surrounded. The artificial mountain is constructed entirely of adobe clay, hay bales, and an estimated 100,000 gallons of paint. The mountain is a colorful display of the Christian faith and is covered in Bible verses and messages of love. Salvation Mountain was created entirely by the dedication and hard work of one man. His name is Leonard Knight. As you can see, Salvation Mountain is not ordinary by any means, and neither was its creator. Leonard was born on November 1st, 1931 in Vermont. He dropped out of school in the 10th grade and later joined the military as a vehicle mechanic in 1951 at the age of 20. After serving in the Korean War, Leonard returned to Vermont and continued to work as a car mechanic until his life took a major turn in 1967. This is when he claims to have gone through his transformation in which he opened his heart and discovered the love of Jesus. With his newfound faith, he decided to dedicate the rest of his life to spreading love and the word of Jesus. He first went about doing so in 1971 when he began the construction of a hot air balloon, which he believed was the perfect way to spread his message. Being a man with no money, the task of building this balloon took nearly 20 years and eventually ended in failure due to the materials of the balloon rotting over time. But Leonard was no quitter, and so he set out to begin his next project in the desert between Neeland and Slab City. This time, he decided he would construct a hot air balloon made of cement, which eventually also failed. According to Lynn Bremer in an article written for Desert USA, this failure was due to an excess of water in the cement mix. However, Leonard was not done yet. He now had a new and better idea and began constructing his final project, a mountain. The construction of the mountain began in 1984 with simply a bucket, adobe clay, and water. Since there is no running water or electricity in its location, Leonard had to haul in all the materials he needed by himself. Leonard literally lived at the mountain in his van, spending his every waking hour improving and adding to the mountain and interacting with visitors until his death in 2014. The artwork still standing today is actually a second version of the original mountain because the first collapsed as a result of rainfall. Instead of calling it quits as all of us would have done long before this, Leonard decided to incorporate bays of hail into his mix of clay and water to provide a more sturdy structure. The result is the mountain that still stands today. Upon looking at the mountain, the first thing you will notice among a sea of colors are the words "God is love," and above this, a large wooden cross. The mountain is covered in many other Bible quotes and messages of love written in colorful paint. Salvation Mountain can be classified as a site-specific work of art. The Watts Towers, located in Watts, Los Angeles, are a great example of another site-specific art piece. They are similar to Salvation Mountain in that they were created by the work of one man with a vision. The creator of Watts Towers was Italian immigrant Simon Rodia. Like Leonard Knight, Rodia spent a large portion of his life dedicated to creating this site-specific art piece. According to an article written for Discover Los Angeles, Rodia began to build the towers in 1921 after purchasing a triangular-shaped lot in Los Angeles and worked nearly every day for 34 years to build the towers. Simon Rodia only used materials he managed to salvage, just as Leonard Knight did to build Salvation Mountain. Like Salvation Mountain, the Watts Towers are an unconventional work of art. However, unlike Salvation Mountain, located essentially in the middle of nowhere, the Watts Towers are located in the massive and highly populated city of Los Angeles. Another example of a site-specific artwork similar to Salvation Mountain is Robert Smithson's Spiral Jetty. This work of land art, crafted entirely of rock and soil, was created on the northeast edge of the Great Salt Lake in Utah. Just as Salvation Mountain is relieving from the dry and lifeless desert environment of which it sits, Smithson's intent for the spiral jetty was for it to provide relief from the desolate landscape of which it is located. As Robert Chinese states in an article written for American Scientist, its deliberate, unnatural contrast with the land and algae-reddened water is what stands out. It resonates with nothing. As you can see, all three of these works of site-specific artwork have similar qualities. It's truly amazing how site-specific artwork can beautifully enhance and provide life to an area.